Hello, everyone. Feel invisible at work?
Hi, friends. Nobody hears my English. Leader Talk changes everything today.
Welcome back to Learn Anna. Learn English today. Sam, have you ever noticed that some people walk into a room and everyone listens to them?
Yes, even when their English isn't perfect, people pay attention. They seem confident and comfortable.
Exactly. And here's the interesting thing. It's not always about what they say, it's about how they say it.
You mean their communication style?
Yes. Confident communication is not just about knowing the right words, it's about your body language, your tone of voice, how you listen, and how you connect with people.
I think many English learners worry so much about making grammar mistakes that they forget about these other important things.
That's so true. I remember when I was learning English, I would practice my sentences perfectly in my head. But when I tried to speak, I looked nervous and unsure.
And when you look nervous, people might think you're not confident, even if your English is actually good.
Exactly. That's why today we want to talk about confident communication. These skills will help you in job interviews, at work, in social situations, and in everyday conversations.
And the best part is that you can practice these skills even if you're still learning English. You don't need to be fluent to communicate confidently.
If you're enjoying this conversation and want to learn more English with us, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel.
Yes, your support helps us create more helpful content. Now, let's talk about how to communicate like a confident leader.
Anna, let's start with a basic question. Why is confident communication so important? Great question. Confident communication affects almost every area of your life, your career, your relationships, and even how you feel about yourself.
Can you give some specific examples?
Sure, in your career, people who communicate confidently often get promoted faster. They're more likely to get job offers, negotiate better salaries, and become leaders.
Because when you speak confidently, people trust you more.
Exactly. Even if two people have the same skills and knowledge, the one who communicates more confidently will often be seen as more competent.
That's interesting. What about in personal relationships?
Confident communication helps you express your needs, set healthy boundaries, and build stronger connections with others.
So it's not just about impressing people at work, it's about all kinds of relationships.
Yes, whether you're talking to your boss, your friend, or someone you just met, confident communication makes the interaction better.
I think some people confuse confidence with being loud or aggressive. Is that the same thing?
No, not at all. Confident communication is actually calm and respectful. It's not about dominating the conversation or showing off.
So what is it about?
It's about being clear, being present, and making people feel comfortable when they talk to you. It's about communicating in a way that shows you respect yourself and you respect the other person.
I like that definition. So a quiet person can still be a confident communicator.
Absolutely. Some of the most confident communicators are actually quite soft spoken. It's not about volume, it's about presence and clarity.
What happens when someone doesn't communicate confidently?
Well, they might be misunderstood. Their ideas might be ignored. They might struggle in job interviews or feel anxious in social situations.
And they might have great ideas, but people don't listen because they don't present them confidently.
Exactly. That's why these skills are so important. Your ideas deserve to be heard, but you need to communicate them in a way that makes people want to listen.
So, confident communication is really about being effective, not just about feeling good.
Yes, it's about making sure your message lands the way you want it to. And the good news is that everyone can learn these skills. Sam, here's something fascinating. Before you even say a word, people are already forming an opinion about you.
Really? How is that possible?
Through body language, your posture, your facial expressions, your eye contact, all of these things communicate before you start speaking.
So, body language is like a silent language.
Exactly. And studies show that people form first impressions very quickly, sometimes in just 7 seconds.
7 seconds? That's so fast. What happens in those 7 seconds?
People unconsciously notice your posture, whether you're smiling, if you make eye contact, and your overall energy. All of this happens before you say hello.
That's a bit scary. So even if I prepare what to say, my body might be sending a different message?
Yes, that's why it's so important to be aware of your body language. Let me give you an example.
Please do.
Imagine two people at a job interview. Person A sits with slouched shoulders, looking down at their phone, tapping their foot nervously.
They sound nervous and uninterested.
Exactly. Now, person B sits up straight with relaxed shoulders, makes eye contact when the interviewer enters, and gives a small, genuine smile.
Person B already seems more confident and professional.
Right. And this happens before either person answers a single question. The body language has already created an impression.
So what are the key elements of confident body language?
First, posture. Stand or sit up straight, but not stiff. You want to look relaxed, but attentive.
Not slouching, but also not like a soldier standing at attention.
Perfect. Second element is eye contact. When someone is speaking to you, look at them. Don't stare intensely, but don't look away constantly either.
What if looking at someone's eyes makes you nervous?
That's common. If direct eye contact feels too intense, you can look at the area between their eyes or at their forehead. It looks like eye contact but feels less intense for you.
That's a helpful tip. What's the third element?
Your facial expression. A small, natural smile makes you seem approachable and friendly. You don't need a big, fake smile, just a warm, genuine one.
What about hands? What should I do with my hands?
Good question. Keep your hands relaxed. You can use gentle hand gestures when you speak, but don't fidget or hide your hands.
Why shouldn't I hide my hands?
When people hide their hands, like keeping them in their pockets or behind their back, it can make them seem nervous or like they're hiding something.
Interesting. What about nervous habits like tapping fingers or playing with hair?
Try to avoid those. They signal nervousness to others and can actually make you feel more nervous too.
So if I control my body language, I might actually start feeling more confident?
Yes, there's a fascinating connection between body and mind. When you stand tall and breathe deeply, your brain gets the message that you're confident, and you actually start to feel more confident.
So fake it till you make it actually works.
In a way, yes. When you practice confident body language, it eventually becomes natural and you genuinely feel more confident.
Sam, we've talked about body language. Now let's talk about the voice itself. How can we use our voice to sound more confident?
This is so important. You can say the exact same words in different ways and create completely different impressions.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Listen to these two versions of the same sentence. First version, fast and nervous. Hi, I was wondering if maybe you could help me with something.
That sounds very unsure and nervous.
Now the confident version, slower and calmer. Hi, I was wondering if you could help me with something.
Wow, the second one sounds so much more confident, but it's the same words.
Exactly. The difference is in three things: pace, pitch, and pauses.
Can you explain each one?
Of course, pace means speed. When people are nervous, they tend to speak very fast, like their mouth is running away from their brain.
I definitely do that when I'm nervous. So we should speak slower?
Yes, but not too slow. You want to speak at a calm, steady pace. This gives people time to understand you and makes you sound more thoughtful and confident.
So what about pitch? What does that mean?
Pitch is how high or low your voice sounds. When people are nervous or asking questions, their voice often goes up at the end of sentences, even when they're not asking a question.
Like this? My name is Sam? It sounds like I'm not sure of my own name.
Perfect example. When you're making a statement, your voice should stay steady or go slightly down at the end. This sounds more confident and certain.
And the third thing was pauses, right?
Yes, pauses are very powerful. Many people are afraid of silence, so they fill every moment with words, or like.
I say a lot when I'm thinking.
That's very common. But if you replace with a brief pause, you sound much more confident and thoughtful.
So instead of I think we should try something different, I should say, I think we should try something different with small pauses.
Exactly. Those pauses make you sound like you're choosing your words carefully, which makes you seem more intelligent and confident.
What about volume? Should confident people speak loudly?
Not necessarily. You should speak loud enough to be heard clearly, but you don't need to shout. Some very confident people speak quite softly because they know people will listen.
So it's about being clear, not loud.
Yes, clear pronunciation and appropriate volume. If you're in a quiet room, you don't need to speak as loudly as in a noisy restaurant.
What if someone's natural voice is very quiet or high-pitched? Can they still sound confident?
Absolutely. It's not about changing your natural voice, it's about using your voice intentionally, controlling your pace, using pauses, and speaking clearly.
Can you give a practical example of using all these voice techniques together?
Sure. Imagine you're in a meeting and you want to share an idea. Instead of rushing and saying, I just thought maybe we could try a different approach, if that's okay.
That sounds very unsure.
Right. Instead, you could say, I have an idea I'd like to share. Pause. What if we tried a different approach? Pause. I think it could be effective.
Oh, that sounds so much more confident. Same idea, but presented differently.
Exactly. And with practice, this becomes natural. You don't have to think about it. Your voice just naturally sounds more confident. Sam, let's talk about empathy. What does empathy mean in communication?
Empathy is understanding and sharing the feelings of another person, right?
Exactly. In communication, empathy means really trying to understand the other person's perspective and showing them that you understand.
Why is empathy important for confident communication? I thought confident people just focus on their own message.
That's a common misconception. Actually, the most confident and effective communicators are often very empathetic.
How does that work?
Because when you show empathy, people feel safe with you. They open up more, they trust you, and they're more likely to listen to what you have to say.
So empathy actually makes your own communication more effective?
Yes. Let me give you an example. Imagine your friend sends you a message saying, I'm having a really hard day.
Okay, I'm imagining it.
If you reply, okay, that's not empathetic, your friend will feel dismissed and might not want to talk to you about their problems anymore.
That's true. Just okay sounds cold.
But if you reply, that sounds really tough, do you want to talk about what happened? Now you're showing empathy.
Because you're acknowledging their feeling and offering support.
Exactly. You're not trying to fix their problem immediately or minimize their feelings. You're just being present with them.
How do you show empathy in face-to-face conversations?
First, listen without interrupting. When someone is sharing something important, let them finish before you respond.
That's hard sometimes, especially when you want to help or give advice.
I know, but interrupting can make people feel like you're not really listening. Second, acknowledge their feelings before you do anything else.
What does that mean?
It means saying things like, that must be frustrating, or I can understand why that would upset you, or that sounds challenging.
So you're naming the emotion they might be feeling.
Yes, this makes people feel heard and validated. Third, ask gentle questions to understand better rather than immediately giving advice.
Like, what happened? Or how are you feeling about it?
Perfect. These open-ended questions invite the person to share more if they want.
What if someone is sharing a problem and you don't know what to say?
That's okay. Sometimes the most empathetic response is simply, I'm here for you, or thank you for sharing that with me.
So empathy isn't about having the perfect solution, it's about being present and understanding?
Exactly. Many people think they need to fix everyone's problems, but often people just want to be heard and understood.
How does empathy relate to confident communication in professional settings?
Great question. In the workplace, empathy helps you understand your colleagues' perspectives, which makes you a better collaborator and leader.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Imagine you're leading a project and a team member keeps missing deadlines. A non-empathetic response would be, you need to work faster. This is unacceptable.
That sounds harsh and might make the person defensive.
Right. An empathetic approach would be, I've noticed the deadlines have been challenging. Is there something getting in the way that we should talk about?
Oh, that's so different. You're trying to understand the situation before judging.
Exactly. And this approach is much more likely to lead to a productive conversation and a real solution.
So empathy makes you a more effective communicator, not a weaker one.
Absolutely. Empathy and confidence work perfectly together.
Sam, I've heard that using someone's name in conversation is important. Why is that?
Using someone's name is one of the simplest yet most powerful communication tools.
Really? It seems so basic.
It is basic, but it works. When you use someone's name, they feel recognized and valued as an individual.
Why does hearing our own name feel special?
Because your name is tied to your identity. When someone remembers and uses your name, it shows they see you as a person, not just as someone or that person.
Can you give a practical example?
Sure. Imagine you start a new job. Most people greet you with hi or hey you, but one person says, Hi Sam, welcome to the team. If you need anything, just ask.
I would definitely feel more comfortable with that person.
Exactly. That person made you feel welcome and seen by using your name.
So when should we use people's names in conversation?
There are several good moments. First, when you greet someone, Good morning, Maria sounds warmer than just good morning.
What about during conversations?
You can use it occasionally to emphasize a point or to make sure you have their attention. For example, David, I really appreciate your help with this.
Should we use names a lot throughout the conversation?
No, that's important to remember. If you use someone's name too often, it sounds unnatural and even manipulative.
Like, Sam, how are you, Sam? Sam, I wanted to ask you, Sam, about something.
Exactly. That sounds like a robot trying to seem friendly. Use names naturally a few times during a conversation is perfect.
What about situations where you forget someone's name? That's so embarrassing.
It happens to everyone. The best approach is to be honest and polite. You can say, I apologize, I've forgotten your name. Could you remind me?
Most people won't be offended by that?
Most people understand. Everyone has forgotten a name before. What's worse is pretending you remember when you don't, or avoiding using their name the entire conversation.
What if you're not sure how to pronounce someone's name correctly?
Ask them. Say, I want to make sure I pronounce your name correctly. Could you help me? People appreciate the effort.
Is it okay to ask someone to repeat their name if you didn't catch it the first time?
Absolutely. It's much better to ask immediately than to go through an entire conversation without knowing their name.
How does using names connect to confident communication?
When you use someone's name appropriately, it shows you're attentive and respectful. These are qualities of confident communicators.
And it probably makes the other person more receptive to what you're saying.
Sam, let's talk about authenticity in communication. What does it mean to be authentic?
Being authentic means being yourself, being genuine, not pretending to be someone you're not.
Exactly. Authentic communication is when you express your real thoughts and feelings in an honest way.
But I thought confident communication was about being polished and professional.
It is, but there's a difference between being professional and being fake. The most confident communicators are professional and authentic at the same time.
How do you balance those two things?
You can be honest and real while still being appropriate for the situation. For example, if someone asks, How are you at work? You don't have to say, I'm fine if you're not.
But you also shouldn't dump all your problems on them.
Right. There's a middle ground. You might say, It's been a challenging week, but I'm hanging in there. How are you?
That's honest, but still appropriate for a workplace conversation.
Exactly. That's what we call healthy vulnerability.
What's the difference between healthy vulnerability and oversharing?
Healthy vulnerability is sharing genuine feelings or experiences that create connection, but within appropriate boundaries. Oversharing is giving too much personal information too soon or in the wrong context.
Can you give examples of each?
Sure, healthy vulnerability in a work context might be I find public speaking stressful, but I'm working on it.
And oversharing would be,
I have terrible anxiety, and last night I couldn't sleep because I was panicking about this presentation, and I've been like this since childhood because
oh, that's way too much personal information for a work setting.
exactly. The first example shows you're human and self aware. The second makes people uncomfortable and seems unprofessional.
Why is some healthy vulnerability actually good for confident communication?
Because when you share something real about yourself, it makes you relatable and trustworthy. People connect with authenticity.
So if you pretend to be perfect all the time, people can't relate to you.
Right. And they might not trust you because they sense you're not being genuine.
What are some ways to show healthy vulnerability?
You can admit when you don't know something. That's a great question. I don't have the answer right now, but I'll find out.
Instead of pretending to know everything?
Yes, you can also acknowledge challenges. This project has been difficult, but I'm learning a lot from it.
So you're being honest about struggles while also showing a positive attitude.
Exactly. You can share emotions appropriately too. I'm really excited about this opportunity. Or, I feel nervous but ready.
Those seem like safe emotions to share, excitement and nervousness about professional things.
Yes, you're being genuine without being overly personal.
What if you're going through something really difficult in your personal life? Should you hide that completely at work?
You don't have to hide it completely, but you should share minimal details. You might say, I'm dealing with some personal challenges right now, so I appreciate everyone's patience.
So you acknowledge something is happening without giving details.
Right. It's honest and it explains if you seem distracted or stressed, but it maintains your privacy and professionalism.
How do you know if you're being authentic or just unprofessional?
Ask yourself, is what I'm about to share appropriate for this relationship and context? Will it create positive connection or make people uncomfortable?
So you think before you share.
Yes, authenticity doesn't mean saying every thought that crosses your mind. It means being genuinely yourself within appropriate boundaries.
Can you be too guarded, like never sharing anything personal?
Yes, if you never share anything real, you seem cold or distant. People can't connect with a perfect facade.
So the sweet spot is being professional, but also letting people see you're a real human being.
Perfect. You're professional in your behavior and work, but authentic in your communication style and genuine in your emotions. Part 11. Managing difficult conversations.
Sam, all the skills we've talked about are great, but what about really difficult conversations, like giving bad news or discussing a conflict?
Difficult conversations are where confident communication really matters. How you handle these situations shows your true communication skill.
What makes a conversation difficult?
Usually, it's when emotions are involved, when you have to give negative feedback, discuss a problem, set a boundary, or address a conflict.
I think most people avoid difficult conversations because they're uncomfortable.
That's true, but avoiding difficult conversations usually makes things worse. Problems don't go away, they grow.
So how do you prepare for a difficult conversation?
First, be clear about your goal. What do you want the outcome to be? Do you want to solve a problem, reach an understanding, or set a boundary?
Having a clear goal helps you stay focused.
Yes. Second, choose the right time and place. Don't ambush someone with a difficult topic when they're busy or stressed.
When is a good time?
When you both have enough time to talk without interruptions and when you're both relatively calm, you might say, I'd like to discuss something important. When would be a good time?
So you're giving them notice and letting them choose the timing.
Exactly. This shows respect and makes them more receptive.
How should you start a difficult conversation?
Start with something positive or neutral if possible. Instead of immediately launching into the problem, you might say, I value our working relationship and I want to discuss something that's been concerning me.
That sets a collaborative tone instead of a confrontational one.
Yes, Then state the issue clearly and specifically without being accusatory.
What's the difference?
Accusatory, you never meet deadlines and it's really irresponsible.
That sounds like an attack.
Right. Clear and specific, I've noticed the last 3 project deadlines were missed, and this affects the whole team's schedule. Can we talk about what's happening?
Oh, that focuses on the specific behavior and invites discussion instead of making a personal attack.
Exactly. Always focus on the behavior or situation, not the person's character.
What if the other person gets defensive or angry?
Stay calm yourself. Remember, respond, don't react. You might say, I can see this is frustrating. I want to understand your perspective.
So you acknowledge their emotion without backing down.
Yes, you can be empathetic while still addressing the issue that needs to be discussed.
What about body language during difficult conversations?
Maintain open body language. Don't cross your arms or turn away. Keep a neutral or concerned facial expression, not an angry one.
Should you maintain eye contact?
Yes, but softer eye contact, not an intense stare. You want to look engaged, but not aggressive.
What happens if the difficult conversation didn't resolve everything?
That's okay. You might say, I know we didn't solve everything today, but I appreciate the conversation. Let's continue this next week.
So difficult conversations don't always have to end with perfect resolution.
No, sometimes just starting the conversation and being willing to address the issue is progress. Sam, we've covered a lot today. Let's finish with some practical, everyday tips that people can start using immediately.
Great idea. What's the first quick tip?
Before any important conversation, a meeting, presentation, or difficult discussion, take 3 deep breaths. This calms your nervous system and helps you sound more confident.
Just 3 breaths can make a difference?
Yes, deep breathing sends a signal to your brain that you're safe, which reduces anxiety.
What's the second tip?
Practice confident phrases in low-stakes situations. Get comfortable saying things like, I disagree, or I need time to think about that, with friends, so it's easier when the stakes are higher.
So you're building the habit in safe environments.
Exactly. Third tip, record yourself speaking sometimes. Use your phone to record a practice conversation or presentation.
Why is that helpful?
Because we often don't realize our own speaking habits, talking too fast, saying frequently, or ending sentences with rising intonation. When you hear yourself, you can identify what to work on.
That might be uncomfortable.
It is at first, but it's very valuable feedback. Fourth tip, expand your vocabulary gradually by learning 1 new professional phrase per week.
Like what?
Things like, I appreciate your perspective. Could you elaborate on that? Or let me give that some thought. These phrases make you sound thoughtful and professional.
What's the 5th tip?
Pay attention to successful communicators around you, bosses, colleagues, speakers you admire. Notice what they do well and try incorporating some of those techniques.
So you're learning by observation.
Yes, you might notice how someone pauses before answering questions, or how they make everyone in the room feel included, or how they disagree respectfully.
6th tip?
Practice the power pose before important conversations. Stand tall with your hands on your hips or arms raised for 2 minutes. Research shows this can actually boost confidence.
Really? Just standing a certain way changes how you feel?
Yes, your body affects your mind and your mind affects your body. It's a 2-way street.
What's the 7th tip?
Prepare a few go-to phrases for common situations. For example, for networking, what brings you here today? Or for meetings, I'd like to build on what Sarah just said. Having prepared phrases reduces anxiety.
Exactly. You're not trying to invent something perfect in the moment. 8th tip? After important conversations, reflect on what went well and what you do differently next time. So you're learning from each experience.
Yes, you might realize I interrupted too much, or I didn't clearly state my main point, or I stayed calm even when challenged. That worked well.
What's the 9th tip?
Find an accountability partner, someone who's also working on communication skills. Practice together, give each other feedback, and support each other's growth.
Having someone to practice with would be really helpful.
Absolutely. And 10th tip, be patient with yourself. Confident communication is a skill that develops over time. You won't be perfect immediately, and that's okay.
So don't expect to transform overnight.
Right. Celebrate small improvements. If you spoke up in one meeting this week when you normally wouldn't have, that's progress.
These are all such practical tips. I think people can really start using these right away.
That's the goal. Confident communication isn't about being perfect. It's about being authentic, clear, and respectful. And that's something everyone can learn.
Well, Anna, we've covered so much today about confident communication.
We really have, from body language and voice control to empathy, boundaries, and handling difficult conversations.
I think the most important thing we talked about is that confident communication isn't about being perfect or knowing everything.
Exactly. It's about being authentic, clear, and respectful. It's about making people feel heard and valued while also expressing yourself effectively.
And these skills can help in every area of life, at work, with friends and family, in social situations, everywhere.
Yes, and remember, everyone can learn these skills. You don't have to be naturally outgoing or have perfect English. You just need to practice and be willing to grow.
Thank you so much for watching and learning with us today, everyone.
If you found this conversation helpful, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more English learning content.
And we'd love to hear from you in the comments. What's your biggest challenge with confident communication?
Yes, sharing your challenges helps us create content that's useful for you. Thank you for being here.
Keep practicing, be patient with yourself, and remember, you're more capable than you think.
See you in the next video.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.